another great guest that has been with me for the entire time. Ted, this is the 1 year anniversary.
Congratulations, Jamal.
Thank you for that. And you've been with me this entire ride, and I want to thank you directly for it. I really appreciate it.
I'm honored to be part of it.
Well, I was looking up when I started back in this iteration of the show, and it was, I think the network went belly up. Our last day was like October 15th.
Mm.
And because we were on air, and Malik comes back in and he's like, it's over with. I was like, what? He's like, this is our last day. And it was like the last show that we had. And I think it took a couple of weeks for me to get everything oriented. And I think it was around November 15th or something like that when the show initially kicked off. And it just kind of blew past it, and realizing it today was like, oh, wait, this has been like a year. So, yeah, man, you have my deepest appreciation for being on this ride. And I thank you for this. And by the way,
it's good to be here. I mean,
Ted Rall,
there's challenges, but, I mean, financially in particular, but I definitely, there's a lot to be said for the level of freedom and independence that you have here.
Yes. I agree with all that. That's true. Because it's like, when the show ends, it's like, okay, what am I going to do for pay? How's this going to work?
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm, sitting in the bar right now. I could be sitting at home smoking a joint from a pot shop, eating pizza and Kabutos, and be perfectly content. But a lot of that came directly from, it's like, okay, how are you going to make ends meet? You got to do, how do you cut expenses? How do you grow your show? How do you do this stuff? And it's like, okay, well, the show's grown better in isolation because you can focus on the show. You cut expenses by getting rid of your car, your house, your et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So, but no, it does allow a certain amount of freedom. And it has been rewarding. I definitely would give it that. So, but no, man, you have my thanks. And Ted Rall, political cartoonist, syndicated columnist, host of TMI with the great, the one and only Manila Chan, also host of The Program with the great John Kariakou. Ted also has another show with a political cartoonist that takes place on Thursday. What is the name of that show one more time, Ted?
DMZ America.
DMZ America. Okay. Ted, I brought you on. I guess there are two things. One, Marjorie Taylor Greene has resigned. Marjorie Taylor Greene has resigned. And I saw that and I was like, my mom hit me up. I didn't even because keep in mind, there's a time zone difference. And my mom was like, did you see MTG? And she named it wrong. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And when I looked it up, Marjorie Taylor Greene effectively was like, Congress is a sewer, is a toilet. Nothing gets done.
Her.
Oh man, I believe everything that came out of her mouth, right?
Me too.
Nothing can get done. All of these people are lying to you. None of them care about the American public. And it's almost like she was crushed by it.
It was Bulworth, if you remember that.
Yes, the movie. We're too old. People may not. People are like, what? What are you talking about?
I mean, it wasn't a big. It's kind of like only political people cared about that movie, like Wag the Dog. Yeah. But it's like, it was a Bulworth moment. Like, what if a politician went rogue and completely honest and told the straight dope to the American people? We just saw that. Yeah,
and she did. I mean, it almost was. It is very weird to me. For one, she's a Republican. There's that. Two,
a right-wing Republican.
Yeah, and she seemed mystified by the whole thing. It was almost like she got in Congress thinking to herself, well, I'm going to actually get change accomplished. And she's like, nothing can get done here.
Yeah.
And she seemed like, I'm going to play her part of her quote. This is her effectively resigning or explaining, I guess, part of why she resigned. She put out an entire letter for it, but
called a trade.
This is part of it.
Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man.
My self-worth is not defined by a man. It is
Powerful.
defined by God. I love it. I love when people invoke God and that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think this was related more so to, hey, this place is a sewer and I can't get anything done, or the president called me a traitor and people are now threatening me? Which one do you think this is more related to?
Well, all big storms are perfect storms, and perfect storms always have multiple contributing factors. So I think it's all of the above, Jamal. I think you take one or two of those factors away, and maybe this resignation doesn't happen. I think fundamentally, she made a decision that a lot of people have to make every day in their life, right? Will I stand by and keep what I have at the risk of being humiliated and biting my tongue? Or am I going to live free or die and just say, fuck it, I'm not going to, I'm not going to be pushed around. I mean, I think she may have survived a primary attempt.
So do I.
I think there's a strong chance, but she probably just thought, you know what, life is too short. There's other things I can do. Congress sucks. Maybe, you and I can sit here and spitball career possibilities for her. Big podcast, Fox News, OAN, Liberty University. I mean, there's all sorts of directions she can go. She can start a newsletter. She can start a new party. She can do anything, right? So, what this does is it gives her, the clever thing is that for this new iteration of her career, because now a new career begins. It's a pivot. It's like as radical for her as like what happened to you and I a year ago was for us. It was radical. Except she has a lot more money to keep her company than we did.
Yes.
She is going to be, she now has, she's free of the Trump yoke. Right. So as it's kind of clever if you think about it, Trump is at record low approval ratings. He's down at 39%, way underwater, especially with young people, which bodes ill for the future. The future of MAGA is unclear. This way, she's not on the sinking ship anymore. She's like, you can't make me walk the plank. I'm diving in. Bye. And so I think that she's got she could pull a Liz Cheney. I don't think she will, and start hobnobbing with Democrats. Although I'm sure the Democrats would have her because that's how they are. They're like, any former Republican who is called a traitor by the president is a friend of theirs, no matter how rancid her politics are. So, I think she just decided she was like, life is too short. Fuck it. And probably, and everything she said about like, I don't want to run for president. Even that was really notable. She said that being president means you can't change anything. Now, you don't have to be a genius to see that being one of 435 doesn't make you able to change anything. But most people think the president can change things. And certainly this president seems to have changed things, but she doesn't think so.
Yeah, see, God, man, I have such a different take. I think this was so weak. I think this was radically weak. Nobody was pushing her out. Yes, she was under political pressure, but so what? You can't fold under political pressure in that situation, especially if what.
Well, I wouldn't if I'm stubborn, but I do think it's a legitimate path to take. It's not the path I would have taken. I would say, fuck Donald Trump. I'm keeping my seat.
Exactly. It's not that I'm saying it's illegitimate for her to call it quits. It's just weak. You are in a position where you are, how can I say this? Every day on our jobs at Sputnik, people would be like, these guys are Russian assets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, you're missing the fact that we haven't changed our point of view. Like, it's not meaning this was just our point of view, right? There is political pressure in being in a situation like that. And I'm saying, yes, the political pressure in Congress is going to be a lot greater. But what you are saying in this case is right. Hey, how are we protecting pedophiles? That's a worthy position to accept. The fact that it's a worthy position should be an armor on some level, because it is a worthy position.
But not if it's pointless. I mean, I'm thinking about AOC.
But it wasn't pointless.
What has AOC accomplished in years, really? And we can already see the sellout starting with Mandani.
But see, AOC immediately went to Mama Bear.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just pointing out, AOC immediately went to Mama Bear, meaning AOC became a creature of the political institution itself. Marjorie Taylor Greene was effectively pushing against the political institution on the Epstein issue, on the idea of, hey, what are we going to do about healthcare? Okay, that is not where a party cares about. She is taking, regardless of her other policies, right? On the things that she was running contrary to her party with, those were relatively big things. And those were the things that were being drawing a lightning rod to her. That's not AOC. AOC wasn't doing that. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene was really running contrary to what her party wanted. They were doing everything in their power to prevent those pedophiles or to protect those pedophiles. She was going against it. They were doing everything in their power to destroy healthcare. Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, dude, how are we allowing all of these people to effectively go broke on the issue of healthcare? This is outrageous. And you could pick several issues where she was doing that with. Why are we not doing these wars? Why are we attacking Venezuela? How are we not getting a deal in Ukraine? And her party was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. That's not AOC.
She also called Israel. She called Israel. She called Gaza a genocide.
Yes, that's what I mean, right? Meaning, in many of the
she's to the left of the Democratic Party on many things.
Yes, that's my point. Like, meaning she's running contrary to the political institution and the political winds. You can wear that like armor. And people like Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson.
It's thin armor, though, is the problem. Because
you think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you're lucky if you can survive like Bernie Sanders did in the wilderness for like more than a decade, right? I mean, he had the people of Vermont to protect him, right? I mean, I think she must have figured that she wasn't so sure she could survive. She must have known, and I don't know, who the likely primary challenger was going to be. And when she found that out, it was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. But she was an honest version of MAGA, if that makes sense. And again, I'm not talking about her other policies. I'm saying something clicked in her where she was like, why are we Make America Great is supposed to be Make America Great. What the hell is this Israel stuff? If Make America Great is Make America Great, how are we allowing healthcare to go up 4 times over, almost overnight?
Well, the funny part is I'm surprised that she's so alone in all that, right? I mean, you put yourself in her mindset, right? She's from rural Georgia. Now, when you're from rural Georgia, the interests of Israel aren't very relevant to your life, right? I don't think. Okay.
Right.
So, but that's also true if you're from the Rust Belt, or from potato country in Idaho, or if you're from, gambling city of Las Vegas. I mean, why is her stance so unusual, and why is corruption so rampant in the GOP? I mean, and for that matter, in the Democratic Party just as much. I mean, that's the part that's weird. I mean, it's like, here she is just saying some basic truths, and that's major news, right? That shows you how fucked up the system is. I mean, someone who's saying, stuff that we all know, that like, neither party gives a shit about healthcare and hasn't been doing anything about it in years. It's like, that's true. And she's just saying the quiet part out loud. Why is the quiet part quiet? I think I know, but it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. I just don't like the fact that you hit a strand.
You don't like that she's crapping out.
Yeah. It feels weird. It feels so weak to me. It feels so weak. It's like so what is it? You can go along with the team and you just stay there forever? Okay, that's worse to me. That's worse.
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. As Bernie would say, second Bernie reference in one talk, The game is rigged. The system is rigged. She knows that. She learned that. She said that. Okay, so what do you do? I mean, that's a fact. So when you learn that that a game is rigged, and do you just say fuck this, throw the ball down, and walk off the playing field, or do you go to the ref and scream and yell and whine and bitch and moan and say this and try to convince everyone that the system is rigged and needs to be changed? Those are kind of your two choices. Neither, if you do what she did, you're accused by us of being weak. If you stick around, then you're like AOC. You've become a cog in the machine. There's no winning. And it only works really, I would say, her walking away, if she has a plan B. If she has some kind of credible, so listen, I learned from the inside, and here's what I've decided to do about it. I formed this think tank. I formed this political party. I'm starting my own political party just in the state of Georgia. Whatever. The point is, if she has some kind of plan B, then it works. If she doesn't, if she just goes home to her stock portfolio, which has become very robust in recent years, then we all say, okay, she's a sellout and she has no class, right? That's it. I mean, you and I both. I mean, she has to decide, does she want to be Rocky? Rocky lost. But is there glory?
All people get old.
Right?
Nobody's gonna be there forever. What about Thomas Massey? Should Thomas Massey quit also?
I mean, like I said, I wouldn't have quit. But I mean, on the other hand, I don't know what she knows. I wasn't there. And I gotta say, it is probably appalling on an almost sexual level for her to have worked so hard for Trump and been there for him so much, and to have him throw her under the bus like that, to the point of using the T word against her. It must have just gone to her core, and it must have made her feel so betrayed and backstabbed. And so it's hard to overstate that, I think.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the film Rollerball?
Yes.
This is the same situation, by the way.
Yes.
Which is why I bring the film up. A guy is in the system, top of his game. He's playing this sport that's kind of what is the name of it? I've seen this sport live in person, and I don't know if I'm going to call it a sport or not. But where they're doing the thing and they're on roller skates and they're running around the ring and everything else, he's doing that, top of his game, and they want him to retire. And they bring him into the room and they're like, "Look, effectively, you're too good at this game. And then, I know you thought this was a sport, but no, this is an allegory for life." And meaning they sit him down and have the talk.
This is a performance.
It's a performance. And he doesn't accept it. And so they're like, all right, well, we need to kill this guy. And they want to kill him on the sport, in the game.
Right.
And on television. And he just refuses to die. But in the very act of refusing to die, he's showing it for what it is. Meaning, no, obviously he's a cog in the wheel. And obviously he can't necessarily overthrow all of it on his own. But what he can do is to expose this is a performance. This is not what you think it is. This is nonsense. And I'm saying Marjorie Taylor Greene staying in the political space on some level does that. She's pointing out, why are we protecting pedophiles? That's humiliating. If you really think about that, all of you guys are throwing your body to protect the guy who was put in prison as an apex pedophile. And the reason that you're doing this is either to protect Trump, to protect Israel, or to protect members of Congress or these rich billionaires. Okay, that is a spotlight in a way that is overwhelming, right? And you got many issues like that. And yes, she was kind of alone, but kind of not. I mean, you did have Thomas Massey. There was elements on the left that you can reach out to that was willing to back you on the stuff. And I get that she was isolated within the context of her own party. But there's a larger objective in shining a spotlight to show none of these people are on your side. All of these people are against you. All of you are being lied to. And consistently making that point of, you're all being lied to. You're all being lied to. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe she saw something in the polling that said she was going to get taken down the primary. Maybe Thomas Massie didn't get taken out in the primary. Thomas Massie has been attacked viciously by Trump. Thomas Massie is still there. He wears it like armor. So I don't know. I just don't like the fact that when she was hitting her stride, she was like,
Thomas Massie has obviously a more stable, I hate to say this sounds very sexist, but Massie's a more stable personality. I mean, he just is. I mean, he's that's a steady rudder. MTG is, she's always been a little erratic. And, so, I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised if she's like a borderline personality disorder lady,
oh, geez.
But
wow.
Okay. But whatever. The point is, I think there's look, it's psychology. You can't ignore it. I mean, she's a human being. These are human beings. Massie, it's like, I think it's less about courage and it's more about like what your personality can deal with. She was betrayed. Massie wasn't betrayed. Massie was opposed. That's not the same thing. I mean, being called a traitor by the president of the United States, when you consider yourself a super patriot lady, that's. I mean, I've been called a traitor many times. I think the whole thing is ridiculous, and it makes me not laugh, but I view it with contempt if someone calls me that. I'm a patriotic American, but that's how I view it. But like with Massie, but nobody tried calling him that. But with her, I think she was kind of like, she had like a love for Donald Trump.
Basically, it hurt. It hurt her.
Yeah.
It hurt her. It should piss you off. Your emotions should run hot, not wet. Those are different things.
Right. Exactly.
The other one, I don't know, man. It's just like, if you're going to be in Congress, there's certain things you just have to accept. And we can power through that stuff. I don't know. The other thing is Mandani. Mandani and Trump. What a surreal, and I watched an entire press.
K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Yeah. It's so surreal. I sat there and was like, what the hell? For my first thought, it put me in the mind of when Chuck Schumer was rubbing himself in Bernie Sanders. When Sanders had just lost, they had just cheated him. And he gets on stage with Chuck Schumer. They have the speech, and Schumer's like, "Oh, I love this guy," and blah, blah, blah. And it's like he's rubbing himself in Sanders. No, not Tom Perez rubbing himself in Sanders, trying to make himself, who is like a -20 rating. And Sanders is still one of the most popular Congress members, is trying to make himself look better just by being beside him. Part of me thought it was that. But the other part was like, I've seen Trump cut down one world leader after the next, especially in Europe, who he just holds with contempt. And Mamdani, this was surreal. Like, for example, here's one part where they're asking Mandani, "Hey, you call Trump a fascist? Do you still believe that?" Like, meaning they were throwing everything out, right, to try to make this turn into a train wreck.
Your answer to Stephen Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. That's easier.
He's like, "That's all right. You good? You can call me a fascist.
You say things.
That's fine. If you need to call me a fascist, that's okay." Here's one more one. Let me kill this one. Here's another one where they first meet, and Trump is like, "I found him to be a very rational person."
President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't. But she's out there campaigning, and you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of?
She's a very capable person.
Isn't
But
that a kind of label?
you really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along. And it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before? Which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him.
That's amazing.
Two boys from
hell?
Queens, two guys
Yeah.
from Queens. I did call this. I did say that this was that they were gonna be nice to each other and that it was gonna be a love-in. And I think because it defies expectations and because there's nothing to be gained from them both looking, ripping the city apart, going at each other. Also, I think Trump has a paternalistic side. And he's like, here's this young man, half my age, less than half my age. And like, I kind of like, you have to, he's like, let me maybe take this guy under my wing. Here, let me help you out. Yeah, you can call me fascist if you want. I'm the bigger one. I mean, of course, he still made Mandani stand while he sat and stuff like that. Like a Catholic priest, the congregation can't sit until the priest sits. But still, I knew it was going to go like that. And, I think it's funny too, because afterwards Mamdani was asked, so do you still think he's a fascist? And he's like, yeah.
Trump was like, you can say it. Go ahead. You can go. It's easier to just say yes. He's stuck with his principles on the Israel thing. Mandani didn't back away from anything in this meeting, even though, and more to the point, anything that Mandani was asked, he brought it back to New York, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make the city of New York great. It's like, hey, do you think so-and-so? Yep, because I think the city of New York needs to be great, and I'm going to do a good job for New York. Part of me also thought that a relationship with Trump may help him in regards to getting funding into the city itself, especially if he's going to be at odds with New York State. That was the other thought with that. But again, I don't know what he said in that meeting with Donald Trump, where Trump comes out in this kind of glowing way. I mean, do you think this is one of those things where the federal government can help Mamdani in accomplishing whatever objectives he's trying to accomplish in New York, or this is just for show?
I think it's a show. I don't think that the president has a lot of interest in helping Mamdani or helping New York City. I think it's just sort of like, but I think he was reading the polls and he was kind of like, the last thing I need to do is make everyone think that I'm picking on the biggest city in the country. So.
I see. One last thing. You said you already see Mamdani, the AOC-ification of Mamdani, to make a term. What's going on in New York?
Well, he's basically appointing a group of, he did promise to keep, Police Commissioner Tish, who is from this very storied, very wealthy family, as police commissioner. He said he was going to do that, but basically he's bringing in. There's kind of a combination of two things that I'm not liking. First of all, a lot of sort of over-experienced swampy creatures, and coming into the administration, and also a lot of wokeitude. Like his entire transition team are women. I'm like, come on, really? They're all women? It's like, what? Who are you, Gaddafi, with your team of like kung fu fighting ladies? It's like it's absurd. So we'll see. I mean, I do seriously have high hopes, but it's gonna be a hard needle to thread for him, and he doesn't come to power with any of those traditional allies you need: real estate, the cops, or Wall Street. That's the same problem De Blasio had. We shall see. De Blasio failed because of that. Also, but he was lazy too.
Oh, de Blasio was. Can he get money from somewhere? Like, meaning if the state of New York, and this is the last question, if the state of New York, if he's going to be at odds with New York State, can he still get the stuff done? Or he needs, let's say, the resources and the support?
He needs money. He needs money from the state. Yeah, he needs money from Governor Hochul. He has made lots of signs of he understands that. He's going up to kiss the ring in Albany. He's he's going to do whatever it takes because that's where the money's coming from. Although if he followed my suggestion of taxing the stock exchange, he wouldn't need to do that.
Ted Rall, political cartoonist, syndicated columnist, co-host with the one and only Manila Chan on TMI that comes on at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, and Deprogram with John Kiriakou that comes on at 9 o'clock. I mean,
13 minutes.
Yeah, in 30 minutes. And also DMZ America on Thursday with the other cartoonist, Scott Stantis, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it.
Stantis. Oh, excellent. Ted, you be safe, man. Thank you for this.
Thank you.